Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. As Optic broadcast one of the final scrim sets we are likely to see from them before the new season begins, Crimsix also taking every single opportunity to get a slight dig in at the CDL. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, hitting the like button is the best thing you can do. Top this channel if new people, and please do subscribe as well if you have not already. I'll have to set some sort of New Year's goal, but 75k by the time the league started would be pretty good if you guys want to help towards that journey. Firstly, this also the Jug points out to me last night from Methods. Of course, some like deleted tweets like this, it's tough to read into them. It's almost that time, he says. There was, I believe, some talk from Zed on the flank a little bit ago that they were trying to get the new announcement sorted because Zed knew the new coach, right? And Den's the new, general manager of the Boston team, whatever it's going to be called, that, we imagine is going to be announcing it relatively soon. Now, I'm pretty sure he said they're going to try and get the contract sorted before New Year's. So you'd imagine that that's pretty much in the works. Around about now, over these coming days, you'd imagine that some sort of announcement could be coming on this front in the new year or whatever it is, because of course things have got to be confirmed. Like the CDL has to say that everything's okay, like everything's pending league approval for some reason when you sign people, but I guess like they don't really tend to deny anything, to be honest. And then the actual branding question mark is still there up in the air at the present time. This also from Crowder, right, the coach of the Atlanta FaZe squad. Lots of questions about this the last several days, like when is control actually going to be fixed, right? Because we're after Christmas now. I guess look, the developers are probably on holiday until the new year. Fact of the matter is though, they don't have like a massive turnaround time to actually make this game playable on a competitive level, especially control, because right now we'll have a look at it still in the scrims we're seeing yesterday. The pros are just playing hardpoint. There's no obviously search and destroy action, but they never scrim that anyway. Like it would always be they'd scrim the hardpoints, they'd scrim the controls, that would be a scrim set, but they're effectively just doing two lots of hardpoint right now, and often they won't scrim a second Bacage, because I think that some of the teams think that probably if Bacage can be got rid of, they'll try and get rid of it as soon as possible if there's any other map that comes in that's viable. Now of course of all the maps they decided to bring back, rumor has it right now that USS Texas might be on the horizon, not a London Docks, a Samurai Dumont or whatever from World War II. That actually could play quite well in a 4 versus 4 competitive boots on the ground environment that we saw in the past. So technically I think a lot of the pros are now scrimming 7 maps in a series instead of 8, maybe getting ready for the idea that yes, it will be 4 hardpoint maps and 3 control maps that they would usually be scrimming on if control is actually ever playable. Thought this is kind of funny really from Merc as well, just because for some reason people people like to at some of the COD League guys at Maven and like about fixing some of this stuff. It's like how Charlie Intel gets tweets about fixing the game, even though they really don't have too much to do with it. But as Merc says, not sure why Maven won't fix it. No one knows what he's up to, but hopefully someone is up to something relatively soon. This also from Arcitys, right? Because just yesterday we discussed, you guys can't really see this, I'll bring it up on screen for you guys right here. We're seeing Gunless only level 20 so far in this game. Now, we looked at yesterday what Crimsix had to say on Illy, right? The fact that Illy does not get off Call of Duty. But in this game, for whatever reason, Illy, has been steering away a little bit from Call of Duty as of late, playing some Halo Charles last night. And even this, right, Gunless has always been the biggest pub demon you'll ever see in your life. Like, he's playing public matches left, right, and centre. Back in World War II, I think this guy used to play like 6, 7, 8 hours of public matches every single day. Like, this guy was absolutely out of control. And, anyways, he says right here, I can only play shipment hardpoint so much until my PC gave up. Never in my day did I think I'd see you like this, right, as RC says in reply. So he's kind of surprised that even a guy like Gunless is steering away from public matches on this game, which of course is maybe a sign of the state of the title at the present time. Let's talk about this then, right? So some scrims come out last night. We heard a few days ago from Scump and the Optic guys in general that probably the scrim streams are going to start stopping relatively soon. Well, at least when the new year kicks off, because I think what he was kind of saying is in the new year people start to take things a little bit more seriously in gearing up for the kickoff event towards the middle of January, and Optic may stop their scrims as a result of that release. They're going to still practice, but won't be streaming them as a result of things. And of course, there's some back and forth on whether that's a good idea, whether that's a bad idea. But generally, the pros aren't streaming all that much stuff. Of course, that does leave the door open. I mean, that guy Capsule gets absolutely worked on right here. This is in the series last night. They played up against Boston, but pretty disgusting turn on, to be honest, here from Scump. Of course, we'll have a look at some of the results of these series here in just a couple of seconds. But firstly, wanted to mention this from Zero. I thought was kind of funny. Bacage is the worst map in competitive Call of Duty history. Is this the case? I don't know. I think at least the way hardpoint is played right now is tough to say. But of course, it seems like Method's team, Boston, seem to beat the London guys on this particular map and say, Ziddy's just better, right? That's why you hate it. And, Zero says, yes, you're right, Ziddy. That's the main reason Bacage is the worst map ever created. My bad, Trey. But of course, these guys are playing in a series last night. I believe this might be one of the very first series the Boston's actually lost in a scrim set. They go down 5-3 here to London. They didn't actually play the full 8 maps with the double Bacage. and both of which go to Boston actually, but most of the maps going London's way, so fair play on that front. I think generally these scrim sets we've seen so far, Boston have been pretty damn good in. They also had some great results up against Optic so far, right? They beat them 5-3 a little bit ago. Of course, look, it is just scrims, but interesting to see London get one over on them here once again, and especially against these kind of like middle to lower tier pack of the teams. Boston are pretty sure undefeated in scrims so far, so finally they get a series taken off them, I suppose. Also this series then that Optic play up against Boston last night, they actually did play the Bacage in this one twice. I'm pretty sure in the Paris series they only played it once, so I think maybe they mix it up really in terms of which map they actually play a single time in the series. But yeah, both Bacages once again go to the Boston Esports guys, right, or Boston Esports Ventures, or Boston whatever it's called. I think it's Oxygen Esports, right, but it's going to be the Boston team. So anyway, it seemed like Boston are really good at Bacage right now, so I guess they're probably hoping it stays in the game, but most of the maps go Optic, so it's 5-2. The only maps the Boston guys actually won were these two maps here on Bacage. The rest of the ones go to Optic, and pretty close map set of results as usual. Shout out CDL Scrim Intel putting this all together. And well, that was the clip we just looked at right from Scump. I don't lose composure. Thought there was some kind of funny replies to this one ready from Methods. No, I have to make a montage. That's alright, if Scump's going to come up with a montage, I've got to bring something on the timeline. TJ's like, yeah, I'm thinking the same. Of course, guys that are teamed together in the past, Methods and Scump back in the World War II days, that wasn't so ideal in the stage 2 half of that season on Optic Gaming. And then TJ at the start of the Black Ops 4 season, of course, on that team that won an event, and then didn't really do all that much for the rest of the title. Give it a retweet, it's uploading, but Scump isn't particularly keen to do so. This also, they played Paris last night. Credit to Paris, they win a map right here. They win the Gavucci 250, 200s. They, I feel bad for Paris, really. They get blowed out in a lot of these scrim sets, to be fair, but some of them are pretty close, and right here they lose 6-1, but, it's difficult to say, because we don't get to see Paris really scrim against too many other teams, just because we don't get that being broadcast to actually see what's going on, as opposed to the Optic scrims that so far this season have been broadcast, obviously, well, on Twitch or TV, but still, not all of them have, maybe, but also some of them probably going into the start of January are not going to be the case either, so going to be more difficult to tell really how these teams are stacking up before the season begins, if you can even read too much into scrims anyway, but you can probably read into the scrims we've seen the last several days that Optic are probably going to be a better team than Paris going into the new year. This also then, because the CDL was getting roasted for this, and I talked about it yesterday, to be honest, the fact that, like, I don't know what tweets they're really doing on the timeline, but just, I kind of feel bad in a way for the social guy, because I guess the social guys just got to do this type of stuff. They probably tell him, like, do some sort of tweet every single day, and he can't talk about what the pros have to say about the state of the league right now, so they've got to try and change the topic to something else, I suppose, and they do this, like, camo clash thing. I don't really know what's going on here, but anyway, just to given the state of the league, when it's kind of like the meme of the dog, when it's like, this is fine and everything's on fire around him, and he's just got to do something to pop up on the timeline, given all the pros obviously aren't particularly happy with what's going on right now, and of course they're not necessarily going to address some of this criticism in a public tweet, so you can understand it all, but I do think it was kind of funny that Crimsix comes back to this one, because of course what they've been tweeting the last several days hasn't necessarily been in line with what people might be interested to hear, right, or at least maybe some updates to the situation, or like, they could come out and say, look, Control, we're going to work on it, like, some transparency would be nice, but doesn't seem to happen all that often, and as Crimsix says, yo, let me run this Twitter for a day, right, so imagine if Crimsix came in here, you can imagine, like, what would be hitting the timeline, it would be absolutely absurd. I wonder if, it'd be possible for Crimsix just to say, look, to tweet something out that gets his contract terminated, so he can go and play Halo for the year, but, so, this would be absolutely comedy, of course, like, they're not going to allow it to happen, but it still could be kind of incredible, and Octane actually says an incredibly similar thing in the reply, right, he comes in the reply to Crim and says, yeah, let me get the password for a few minutes, right, like, Octane could, I don't know, I guess I will get his checkbook maxed out, right, in terms of what fines they're going to deliver, if this was the case, but, yeah, still, Crimsix and Octane, if they were to be on the timeline here for the Conley Twitter, I'm not sure what would be going on, but, it would be an exciting one, no doubt. Maybe they can get the password at some point or another, maybe if there's a LAN event, they can sneak into the social media guy, get his phone, and maybe something in it the timeline, but, yeah, just, the pros can't shy away from an opportunity to roast the CDL when they do kind of strange tweets like this one, to be honest, as they have been the last several days. This also from Scump writes some talk about league play, because we know league play is coming at some point. We don't know how good it's going to be. We don't know when it's going to arrive. The rumor has kind of had it from Hex the last couple of days that league play is deliberately delayed to the point where the CDL launches, or like at least a February time, to kind of give Call of Duty that second uptick, even though it might be much better for the competitive scene and really for the game in general if league play was there at launch. For whatever reason they decided to delay it, especially because Trek are actually working on it. You'd think that Trek, if they wanted to, could just copy and paste the Cold War league play into this game. I hope the league play system in this game is better than the Cold War one, because realistically, like, it wasn't really too skill dependent. World War II was way better. You had an elo system, you win more, you get more points, you lose more points, I suppose. Now, we don't know when that's arriving into the game. We hope, of course, it's relatively soon, and Scump has kind of been raising some questions, like how much Vanguard is he actually going to play after he gets off from scrims? Is he going to play Warzone? What else is he going to play? Now, he reckons right here in reply to Jack6, 100% I'm going to be playing it, right? So he reckons League play, when it arrives, I'm going to be playing a fair bit of it. Hopefully it's actually a good system. There has been some rumours really that it actually is going to be a decent elo-based system like we've had back in the day. Hopefully whoever's working on it delivers on that front. I'm pretty sure it's meant to be the Trek guys doing it. We saw a while ago. They're actually working on the League play side of this title and letting Cellium do their own thing. So Trek generally have the competitive scene's best interest in mind, but whether they're being ordered to do certain things from above, that of course has been the big question of the last several years. And just to finish off with this, right, as we kind of don't really know what's going on with the third game mode right now. Is there even going to be one? How good is Control going to be? Maybe as one of Octane's many birders says right here on the tunnel, I'm trying to see a cook-off for Game 3 this year. Like, you know, instead of turning them into Warzone or whatever they were going to try to do, down to the wire battle between New York and Optic, like Shotzi and Lily make a Mexican-Indian food dish, chicken curry tacos, ghost pepper and lime sauce, and they face off against one of Hydra's dishes. I'm not going to try and pronounce that. I did do French in school, but like, there's no way I'm tackling that particularly well. But anyway, very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit in a like button. Told the YouTube gods, this is a good video. I just like you should see it as well. And help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thanks for watching as always. Take care. And I will see you next time.
I flipped as well.
In the back of me?
All on you, move.
Front, cap. I don't think he went back up top. It's Michael ladder.
My front. I can get you right now.
Nice, held him. In the back of me? A-plat. Get an arrow, got me in the back. There's two. He's dead.
A-plat dead.
He just ran at it, bro. Top. He's cutting it off, top.
He's dead. Dude, that guy's on
Front door dead.
lots.
Dude, like, I can't. One shot kitchen.
He's front door.
Kitchen.